Your objective for lesson 12 is I will measure side lengths and whole number units to determine the perimeter of polygons. So we worked with area back in module 4, and area and perimeter are something that you should not get confused, because whenever we worked with area, we had to find the amount of space inside of an object, like how many square units or how many square centimeters or square inches or square yards or square feet filled up the inside of a rectangle or the inside of a certain object. But the perimeter is whenever you find what is around, what is the length of the edges and all the way around a shape that we're measuring or a shape that we're looking at. So this template should be in your binder, and this is what you're going to need for the concept development. And you will also need a ruler for the concept development, because we're going to have to measure the side lengths, because that's one way that we find the perimeter is by adding up all of the side lengths. So make sure you have those two things ready for the concept development. Okay, so I wrote here perimeter is around. It's very important that you remember that perimeter is around. You're not finding the inside of a shape. You're not having to multiply two side lengths to find the area. We add up all of the side lengths to find the perimeter. So when you're looking at shape A, I want you to trace the perimeter of shape A with your finger. So you're going to kind of do it like I'm doing it. You're going to go from this side to this side to this side, this side to the other side, and then that edge to the other edge. So that's the perimeter, going all the way around this first shape on your paper. So your finger just traveled around the perimeter, and it says, what tool can you use to figure out how many centimeters your finger traveled? Well, the tool that we're going to use today is a ruler. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure each side length in centimeters. So remember that whenever you're measuring it, you've got to start at that first tick mark on your ruler, and you've got to figure out what is the side length of each one of these sides, and you're going to write down the side lengths next to each side as we're doing that. So I want you to take your ruler, and I want you to place the first tick mark at the edge of this rectangle at the top, and then see where it goes to from this part right here of the rectangle. Well, you should have got that it was 10 centimeters. Now we're going to go and we're going to write down the same exact thing for this side length. There's no need to measure this side length because we know with a rectangle opposite sides are equal. So you can go ahead and write 10 centimeters on the other side length. And now all we need to do is measure one of these side lengths. So you may have to turn your paper sideways or turn your ruler sideways to be able to get it going up and down like this. And whenever you measure that side length, you should have got that it was 4 centimeters. So now we just need to write 4 centimeters over here on the other side as well. So whenever we're working with perimeter, and whenever you get to the problem set, you're going to have to write down an equation or a number sentence to show how you're finding the perimeter. And that's always something good to do. Just always write down your number sentence that shows how you're finding the perimeter. So if you add up all of the side lengths to find the perimeter, then on your paper, I want you to write this underneath the rectangle. 10 plus 10 plus 4 plus 4 equals 28. And so the perimeter of that shape, and it should say 28 centimeters, was 28 centimeters. Now I want you to notice this isn't like area where I'm putting square centimeters, because I didn't use squares to measure all the way around this shape, and I didn't have squares that filled up that shape, so I do not have to put squares with it. Now we're going to be ready to move on to the next shape, shape B. It says to trace the perimeter with your finger. You don't have to do that. Just remember that it goes all the way around the shape. That's where the perimeter is, each side. And now we're going to measure each side length, and we're going to write down a number sentence again for how we are going to find the perimeter of this shape. So I want you to use your ruler and measure this side of the triangle. Push play when you're ready to check your answer. So that side of the triangle was 3 centimeters. Now you're going to use your ruler and measure this slanted side of the triangle. Whenever you have that done, I want you to push play. That side was 5 centimeters. Now you're going to measure the bottom side of this triangle, and whenever you're ready to check that, push play. If it will let me push it. Okay, that side was 4 centimeters. So now underneath the triangle, we're going to write the number sentence that shows how we're going to find the perimeter of this triangle. So under your triangle, you should be writing 3 plus 5 plus 4. It doesn't have to be in that exact order, as long as you're putting those 3 numbers down. And whenever you add 3 and 5 and 4 together, you get that it's 12. And I want you to go ahead and put 12 centimeters beside that because the perimeter is 12 centimeters. Okay, now we're going to move on to shape C. You see that shape C has 5 different sides, so we're going to have 5 different side lengths that we're measuring. And from the looks of it, whenever I'm looking at it, some of these side lengths may be the same length, because it looks like this side length right here and this side length right here are very similar. So we're going to probably have those two as the same, and then these 2 top sides look similar as well, so those are probably going to have the same side lengths as well. So you're going to measure these side lengths and write all 5 of those side lengths down on your paper, and push play whenever you're ready to check it. Okay, so this top one was 4 centimeters, so this one was also 4 centimeters. These 2 side lengths were 3 centimeters, and this bottom side length was 6 centimeters. So now we're going to write our number sentence down to show how we find the perimeter. So we're writing 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6, and that gives us that the perimeter of that shape was 20 centimeters. And make sure when you're adding these that you're using a strategy. Use numbers that you know that make easy numbers. Like you should know that 4 plus 6 equals 10. It's always good to find a 10. I know that 3 and 4 makes 7. And then I know 7 plus 3 makes another 10. So these 3 numbers right here make 10. And then 4 and 6 make 10. So that gives us 20 pretty easy. Okay, so we're going to just move on. I'm going to skip through the rest of these shapes, and I'm going to go to the problem set, because the problem set is just like what we were doing just now, so it's going to be a lot easier for you to just move on to the problem set and do the same thing. So on the problem set, I've got a lot of blue on my paper because I covered up what all of the measurements were, but we're doing the exact same thing. We are measuring the side lengths like it says in the directions, and then and it says in centimeters, then it says find the perimeter of each shape. Now on your paper where it says perimeter right here, this is where we're going to be writing down the let me get this out of the way if it will move. Yeah, this right here is where we're going to be writing down what we're adding together to find the perimeter. So on your paper you can go ahead and put that. If I can get rid of these squares, all 3 of these were 3 centimeters. And so on your paper, you're going to put 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. You don't have to put 3 centimeters plus 3 centimeters plus 3 centimeters plus 3 centimeters. I'm just fine if you put the number 3. And so when you add 3 up 4 times, we know that it is equal to 12 centimeters. So this first one is done for you. So the next one, you're going to measure all of those side lengths. So when you're looking at the shape, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sides. So you're going to measure all 6 sides. It looks like some of them may be the same side length. So use that to your advantage. And then once you have that done, you're going to write down the numbers that you're going to add together to find the perimeter of this shape. So just make sure that you're getting your ruler on there correct and lining it up with that first tick mark that's at the 0 inches, or not the 0 inches, but the 0 centimeters. And then go ahead and measure shape B to find the perimeter. And whenever you're ready to check your answer for that, you may push play. So that side length was 3 centimeters, which means that that was 3 centimeters. This one was also 3 centimeters, so I'm assuming that all of these side lengths are 3 centimeters, just like this rhombus or diamond is right here. So you're going to be writing down 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And we know that this is also the same thing as 6 times 3. And we know that 6 times 3 gives us 18 centimeters. So the perimeter of this shape was 18 centimeters. Okay. Moving on to shape C, go ahead and measure those side lengths, and those also look like they have the same side lengths, so those probably will have all of the same measurement. And then you're going to write down your addition sentence and the perimeter that you get. Whenever you're ready to check your answer for that, you may push play. This side length was 4 centimeters, so was this one, and this one, and this one. So that's really the same thing as saying 4 times 4, or 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. And we know that 4 times gives us 16 centimeters. So the perimeter of this shape was 16 centimeters. And now you're ready to move on to shape D, which also looks like it has a lot of the same side lengths. So we're doing the same steps as we did with all of the other ones. Whenever you're ready to check your answer for this one, you may push play. So this side length was 6 centimeters, so was this one, and this one was actually 5 centimeters, so that one wasn't the same length as the other two. So this one is actually 6 plus 6 plus 5. I hope you just didn't write down 6 centimeters. I hope that you measured it to make sure that was actually correct. And so whenever you do 6 plus 6 plus 5, you're going to get the answer of 17 centimeters. Now, this one down here, I want you to notice it has a side length right here, and right here, and right here. When you get to perimeter, you've got to do every single side length. So every side length that you see has to be measured or counted, whatever you're using or working with during whenever you're finding the perimeter. You've got to do every single side length. So this one has lots of different side lengths. We can see by looking at it that they're not all the same side length. So make sure you're measuring each one of these side lengths with your ruler to find the correct side length, and then write down your addition sentence, and then write down what the perimeter is for shape E. And whenever you're ready to check that, you may push play. Okay, this side length was 3 centimeters. This side length was 3 centimeters. This long side length was 6 centimeters. This side length right here was 2 centimeters. This side length right here is, I'm guessing, 3 centimeters. And then this side length right here is probably about 1 centimeter. So now you've got to write all those down. 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 1. Whenever you add all of those together, you get 18 centimeters for the perimeter for shape E. Okay, now we're moving on to the back side. You see a lot of blue again because I covered up the answers. Number 2 says Carson draws 2 rectangles to create the new shape below. Use a ruler to find the side lengths of Carson's shape in centimeters and then find the perimeter. So they put 2 triangles together, and so since this line right here is in side of the shape, that's not going to be a side length of the shape. We're not going to measure that, so that's why you only see 4 little answers right here covered up, because those are the 4 side lengths on the outside of the shape that we're going to have to measure. So you need to measure those side lengths in centimeters. They all do look like the same size, but make sure you're measuring them just to be sure. And so measure those whenever you're ready to check your answer for those side lengths. I want you to push play. Okay, so that side was 3 centimeters and all of the other sides were 3 centimeters. So we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, and I do want you to write down your addition sentence that you're going to use to find the perimeter. And then you're going to write in a sentence what the perimeter of Carson's shape is now. So whenever you have that written down, I want you to push play to check your answer. Okay, so you should have done 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and we know that that was equal to 12 centimeters. So your sentence should have said something like this: the perimeter of Carson's shape is 12 centimeters. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 3. Hugh and Daisy draw the shapes shown below. Measure and label the side lengths in centimeters. Whose shape has a greater perimeter and how do you know? So there's a lot of steps to this. You have to measure and label all of the side lengths in centimeters. You're going to do the same thing that we've been doing where you have to write down the addition sentence that we're using to find the perimeter. Then you have to say who has a greater perimeter, and then you also have to say how you know they have a greater perimeter. And if you think back to whenever you were asked whose shape has a larger area, the reason that the shape had a larger area is because it had more square units than the other one. So if someone's shape has a bigger perimeter, it's because its length is longer than the other one. It has more centimeters than the other one has. So your first step is to measure both of these shapes, measure all the side lengths in centimeters, label those, then write down what your addition sentences are, and then to answer those 2 questions. So I want you to work on answering number 3, and whenever you're ready to check it, I want you to push play. Okay, so we've got 3 centimeters for that side length, 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 and 3 centimeters for that side length. So all of those side lengths were 3 centimeters. So whenever you add all of them up, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, 5 times, you get 15 centimeters for Hugh's shape. And then Daisy's shape, this side length was 3 centimeters, this was 4, this one was 4, and this one was 5. So when you added all of those together, you got 16 centimeters. So if Hugh's shape was, the perimeter was 15 centimeters, and the perimeter of Daisy's shape was 16 centimeters, then that tells us that Daisy's shape has the greater perimeter. I measured the side lengths and added to find each perimeter, and 16 is greater than 15. So you didn't have to put exactly that, but you did need to put that Daisy's shape had the bigger perimeter, and the reason why is because 16 centimeters is larger than 15 centimeters. So as long as you had something along those lines, then your answer is correct for number 3. So number 4, Andrea measures one side length of the square below and says she can find the perimeter with that measurement. Explain Andrea's thinking and then find the perimeter in centimeters. So we know first of all that this is a square because it says that it's a square. And we learned whenever we were doing area that a square has all side lengths that are the same size. So if we know one side length, does that mean that we know all of the other side lengths of the square? And the answer to that is correct. So we just need to measure one side length, and then that's going to help us find the perimeter of all of the other sides. So I want you to go ahead and just measure this side length of your square and write that down and push play when you're ready to check that. So you should have got that this was 4 centimeters. So now we just need to write down our addition sentence of 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 to find our perimeter. And then we're going to write down the perimeter, and then we have to explain what Andrea was thinking. And we're going to have to include in our explanation about how she was thinking that a square has all side lengths that are the same. So if you know one side length, you're going to know all of the other side lengths whenever you're trying to find the perimeter. So once you go ahead and get down your addition sentence and then the answer to explaining Andrea's thinking and writing down the perimeter of the square, whenever you're ready to check that, you may push play. So Andrea can find the perimeter by measuring one side length of the square because squares have 4 equal sides. If she measures one side, the rest of the sides are that length. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16 centimeters. So the perimeter was 16 centimeters. I keep saying that wrong. Your sentence didn't have to say exactly what mine said, but it did need to be similar to this where you included that squares have the same side lengths. So if you measure one side, all the other sides are going to be that same length. Okay, so now you're ready for the exit ticket. Once you have this completed, you may bring it to me.